Let's move on. Keith Atherton is going to cover the MPPC23 Chronicles conference recap and highlights for all those that were unable to make it and wanted to kind of get a summarized view of what happened there. And hopefully we'll see you there next year. So Keith, take it away.
Thank you so much. Hopefully the screen is showing just there.
It is, yep.
Fantastic, thank you. So yeah, thanks Soren, thanks Sarah, great presentations, really, really good. So a bit about me, I'm Keith Atherton. I'm a solutions architect and software developer. I'm based in Scotland. I'm also a Power Platform community super user and Microsoft MVP as well. So just as David mentioned, I'm going to go through the MPPC23, the Microsoft Power Platform conference, a bit of a recap, some of the highlights that we saw while we were there. So first up, I was one of the lucky ones who managed to go this year. I was also very lucky enough to go to last year's, which was the first one. That was in Orlando, Florida. This year was in Las Vegas, and the main event itself, the conference, was 3 days in the first week in October, and there were some workshops either side of the conference days as well. So the agenda was looking really good. We had some really big name speakers. You can see April Dunham there, Chris Huntingford, many other great speakers as well. Some of the sessions were introductions, people new to the platform, new to different features, and some were technical deep dives, and kind of everything else was covered as well. It was a really good mix. So some stats on the sessions, there was around 110 speakers, around 150 sessions, and there was about 18 workshops either side as well. So one of the biggest problems was actually just choosing, with so many tracks running concurrently, which sessions do you make? But yeah, there was certainly some really great sessions on this time. So first off, Charles Lamanna, who's the Corporate Vice President for Business Applications and Platforms, he delivered the first keynote that kicked things off on the Tuesday. And we've got things like the announcements. April shared a link early on as well, which we'll cover in a moment. But that was named Power Platform in the AI Era, and there was mention of AI co-pilots. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, there was some really good insights and good, interesting announcements there. So Charles mentioned other statistics as well, things like the Power Platform's got around 33 million monthly active users, and the uptake and the adoption has really grown a lot, even since the last conference. It really is growing, very quickly. So to give a short summary of all the announcements, so the first announcement was going to mention Copilot a lot here. We should do Copilot bingo. But new Copilot capabilities in Power Pages, making it much easier to build data-driven websites. Now, this was really handy. So the Copilot we can see there, it's quite small, but at the top it says build a banking site to collect student loan applications for Woodgrove Bank. So before, instead of starting from the blank page, creating it from scratch, this was just using a prompt, and within a very short space of time, it actually took you through the stages of what kind of layouts do you want, what kind of common pages would you be looking to use, such as about us, contact us, and so on. And even when you got to the end, you could use prompt engineering in the Copilot to make adjustments to the website while you had it there as well. There was even a cool example where one of the prompts was, okay, create a theme based on colors used by this business. You didn't need to provide the colors or open up your CSS or do any of that. The Copilot actually just went publicly to the website, pulled the theme colors across, and implemented them in the website. So really cool, really worth a play with. If anyone's looking to get started with Power Pages, not had a go yet, this could be something to help get you started. Announcement number 2, again, April touched upon this earlier on, that the Copilot for Power Apps has evolved. And there's a demo of it there on the screen. So on the left-hand side, we can see the Copilot control is actually there so users can take advantage of it. So rather than just us as makers using it to build something, that can look at the data and be useful for the end users as well. Now, when we select the Copilot control, we've got some properties here on the right-hand side. So we've got the data source items, which looks like it says something like risk mitigation requests. But crucially as well, further down, we've got up to 4 websites that we can also use to provide data to the Copilot. So really, really handy if you want to get many different sources of information for that one Copilot. Announcement number 3 was all about Power Automate. So the new flow designer, which can look, quite slick, quite neat, that got a good reception. The biggest reception was for the larger expression box, so you can actually see what you're doing, which is nice. You can actually see a lot more of the expressions in one go, which is very, very useful. And the Power Automate Copilot itself is now GA as well. And there were some other mentions of things like flow versioning, like you can do with Power Apps and many other things, and the process mining Copilot as well, to actually make processes a lot more efficient and just be able to, tweak and adjust these different processes so long as you've got the data for those processes. So again, probably a lot of opportunities with that one. The 4th announcement, this was a way of streamlining governance and security for your makers and a way of automating the managed environments. So on the right-hand side, I've zoomed in on this environment routing option, but this is a great way that you can direct new Power Apps makers into their own personal developer environments. So if that's something you're looking to do, it's a lot more convenient just by toggling the switch, turning that on, and people get redirected to those environments instead of trying to set up guides and actually enforce it in different ways. So yeah, very, very useful. And the last one, announcement 5, was about extending the Power Platform community. So we can see some statistics just there. Last year was the launch of the Power Up program. When it was at the initial MPPC, and we can see there was around 22,000 learners who've taken advantage of this, around 180 countries as well. So really good engagement, really big adoption on that, and it's grown a lot over that last year. But going forward, the Power program is continuing. There's mention of individual learning, as it currently does, as well as group learning opportunities. There's also the Super User in Training, or SUIT program as well. So if you want to become a super user, that can involve helping on the forums. It can involve, mentoring people or giving video or blog content in the Power Platform community site. It's not just Power Apps, it's all parts of the Power Platform. I would highly recommend checking that out. It's a great program to be part of. And if you want to see more about the announcements, I know April has shared the link for this earlier on as well, but there's a handy link just here. David, I know, will share these links. We'll have them on the Power Platform community page for everyone to see as well, so no need to take notes at this stage. So there's a few other keynotes. I'll just go over these fairly briefly. There was a really good one, inextricably linked AI is a Copilot. This was by Thomas Domke, who's the CEO of GitHub, and you can imagine the CEO of GitHub's probably a big, important, busy person. He could have maybe knocked up a couple of slides and just talked over it. However, he didn't. What he did was much more interesting. What Thomas did was actually crack open Visual Studio Code and use GitHub Copilot to actually build the classic Snake game from the old Nokia cell phones. So he did this to create it. It was mostly just using web code, lots of JavaScript in there, and actually adjusted it, fixed things as he went, just talked through, and within minutes created a game using the Copilot. This Copilot's been around for a couple of years, the GitHub one, very, very popular. And in this as well, he even found the time to get the 9-button display of the old Nokia phones as well for the up, down, left, right movement as well. So yeah, really, really impressive stuff. If you do want to check out the game as well, Thomas has naturally hosted this on GitHub on his own page as well, just known as Power Snake. So there's a few more keynotes. There was a really good one here, working with your Copilot, unlocking efficiency and collaboration for the new era of work. And there were some really good statistics there. We can see a couple on the screen of, many people do have concerns about AI replacing their jobs, but also many people, are considering using AI to lessen their workloads as well. So there's lots of kind of interesting factors with the use of AI and Copilots. There's a really good one, another keynote as well, from Power BI to Microsoft Fabric, analytics in the era of AI. Of course, Fabric is relatively new and growing as well, really, really important, and some interesting insights there. And finally as well, there was a keynote, I think again, the power of knowing what you don't know, and there was a fireside chat hosted by Sangya Singh as well. The other good thing with the conference as well, we were lucky enough, depending on your thoughts on this, is that it was hosted in Vegas. So there was lots of opportunities, lots of shows, lots of entertainment, lots of things that you could take advantage of while you're there as well. So that was an interesting side to the conference for sure. And meeting other super users as well, and other people in the community. So many do so much, help on the forums, do lots of speaking, such as Soren and Sarah today. So it was great to bump into some of the super users there and meet more people actually in person. And really that was the highlight for me. When you get the chance to meet people in person, some of them might be role models, people you follow online, people you look up to, or you want to reach out to. It was a great opportunity to actually meet folks in person, have a chat with them, get to know them as well. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without meeting the Dragons as well. So great to see David and Hugo in person again. Now, to find out about the next MPPC, the dates and the location have not been announced just yet, but here are a few links for their social accounts where you can stay up to date and find out when that becomes available. And if you do go, I hope to see you there. So with that, thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Keith. I was kind of cracking up myself as you were mentioning all the people that are celebrities and fans and role models. And then there's these two guys in costumes that I happen to bump into as well. Grown men in pajamas. It was fun, though, everybody. So we look forward to the next one as well.